समस्त जन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् Hari Om, Namaskar. My salutations to everybody. Chanakya once told, creation and destruction are in the hands of a teacher. A teacher is responsible for creative force and also the destructive force on the planet. Because every student at some point of time was under a teacher. If at that moment we could guide them correctly, then that student would become a blessing, a benediction to the people of, benediction to everybody on earth. And if that child becomes destructive, then it is a curse. So creation or destruction are in the hands of a teacher. We have a job to see that we inspire students consistently. In this regard, the Hindu education system, if you see, had always two types of knowledge, Paravidya and Aparavidya. Paravidya, absolute knowledge. Aparavidya, not infinite knowledge. Infinity and finite, both were combined. Para and Apara. Spiritual, secular. Sacred, secular. This was the combination. Education is complete only when both are combined. If someone is academically brilliant but cannot face a small problem in life, then that person has failed education. I mean, the education has let that person down. So it is important we understand that academic brilliance must have backing of spiritual understanding. Spiritual clarity should also have should have academic brilliance. A combination of these two is what we try in Chinmaya Vidyalaya. That is the vision which Gurudev had. So in this regard, we have brought out a new set of books called Life and Aradhana. Life and Aradhana. Life itself is a beautiful thing, decorative offering to the Lord, which we offer to Him as a glory. This is nothing new. It has the same 7 topics which is there in CVS, in the Chinmaya Vision program, in CVP. Physical, emotional, intellectual, cultural, spiritual, nationalism, and universal outlook. 7 topics. The earlier books also covered the same, but time to time in the field of education, we need to convey something which that generation understands. So we came up with this book, new methods, new stories, new workshops, and new ways of reaching out, same content, but the way in which we can inspire. So it's a new set of stories, but the values remains the same. This is what is Life and Aradhana. I'm sure this would serve for another 7 to 10 years, and somebody else can come and update it, retaining the essence, but presentation skills can change. So we have come up with this new book, and I'm so happy all of you are keen on picking up how to empower children with these books. So it is really, really heartening to know that so many Chinmaya Vidyalaya teachers and teachers of other schools are keen in knowing how to do this. I'm also grateful to Oxford University Press for coming forward to publish this book. So here we go with a new training. I'm sure with this combination, we would be in a position to bring up children who are academically brilliant and spiritually brilliant. A combination of this would make the child live life to his or her full potential. Otherwise, we live life at surface level, superficial. In-depth living has to come, then we should have insight into spiritual life as well as the material life. This is what the age-old tradition is. Lakshmi and Vishnu, Lakshmi and Narayana. Lakshmi, material prosperity, Narayana, spiritual wisdom. A combination of this makes life complete. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Swamiji. That was indeed a wonderful blessing that all of us have received. And I've been talking about the team which worked for this meticulously, spending a lot of time. And we have a small recording of the speakers introducing themselves. So let's take a look at them. It's a very brief video.
Namaste and Hari Om everybody. My name is Rohini and I am a yoga teacher. I have been teaching for the past 13 years and really love and breathe everything to do with the body and the mind and that connection. I will be taking you through the physical development section of the Life of Aradhana workshops over the next few days, and I'm really looking forward to meeting you all and getting on this journey of learning together. Namaste and see you soon. Hari Om. My name is Vidhi Modi. I am an assistant professor in the Department of Commerce at Edraj College for Women, Chennai. My association with the mission has been for over a decade now, and I am blessed to be a part of this project as well. I have co-authored the intellectual development modules here, and I look forward to interacting with you all. Thank you. Hari Om. Namaste.
Hari Om. My name is Harsha Murlidhar. I'm an entrepreneur by profession, but a teacher by passion, and I have been associated with Chinmaya Mission for more than 10 years. I'm very happy to facilitate the spiritual development sessions of this beautiful workshop. Looking forward to seeing all of you. Hari Om.
Hari Om. My name is Gayatri Panikar and I'm a Chinmaya Balvihar Sevika. I have worked on the Universal Outlook module for Life and Aradhana. I've been involved with the Chinmaya Mission for the past 8 years. I joined in as a student and now enjoy myself teaching children.
Hari Om. I am Brahmachari Sanatan Chaitanya, a monk from the Chinmaya Mission. I have been working with the students of Chinmaya International Residential School since 2016 after studying Vedanta at the Sandipani Sadhanalaya, Powai. Spirituality, Indian culture, Hinduism, and civilization knowledge systems excite and inspire me a lot. I will be working with the emotional development aspect of this workshop with all of you. I am really looking forward to meeting and working with everyone. Thank you.
Hari Om. My name is Swami Anukulananda. I serve at the Chinmaya International Residential School. I am also part of the CCMT Education Cell as one of the zonal directors. I co-authored the Indian Culture section of Life and Aradhana Value Education series. It's my pleasure to be part of this training program and learn with all of you. I look forward to meeting you in these 4 days of training. Hari Om.
Hari Om. I am Radha Narayanan. I was part of Chinmaya Yuva Kendra since 2004. I did the youth empowerment program where youngsters gave 1 year of our lives for the service of the nation. I did my BE, EEE and MBA. I currently run my business called Gurukul, where I take ancient Indic wisdom to current generation youngsters through games, storytelling, and much more. In this book, I have been part of the patriotism section. I co-authored that segment, and I'll be very happy sharing my thoughts on it with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. That was the team which prepared the book. They all slogged and worked a lot for the book. We are all Education Cell is ever thankful to them. And we begin with today's session. We had Swami Anukulanandaji giving a very, very humble introduction of himself along with the rest of the team. But he has been a pillar for this book. I have to say this. He has worked tremendously on this, and every single line has been right from proofreading, right from the concept, writing, and the teacher handbook is a completely done by him. Even now, we have not stopped. He is continuing to provide support for the checking out the animations that are being brought out by Oxford University Press. He has been a great mentor for this book. And who else can start today's session? He's also going to be taking a session on Indian culture. But before that, he will give a small briefing about the structure of the book and for you to understand it better. Over to Pujya Swamiji. Pranam Swamiji, kindly take over.
Hari Om. Hari Om. Hey everybody. Those who have joined in only today, so welcome to the session. And those who joined yesterday or day before yesterday, welcome back to the session. So it's nice to meet all of you once again and to spend time the whole day with all of you. Different trainers have been coming and they've been taking different sessions every day. As teachers, they've been doing homework, they've been preparing their PowerPoint presentations, all the back-end work is going on, and then we are able to share the lessons with all of you. So about this book, Life in Aradhana, the most important thing just to remember is that this particular series that we have come out with has
It's 9 o'clock.
very beautifully been structured around the 7 aspects of CVP: physical, mental, intellectual, spiritual, patriotic, Indian culture, and universal outlook. Right? And therefore, every lesson that we take up, please note that the title of the lesson may not indicate directly which aspect of CVP we are covering. Right? So to know which aspect of CVP we are covering, you should look at the page number given on the page. On just the top of the page number, you will see the aspect of CVP that is being covered. Apart from that, under every aspect of CVP, let us say physical development, when we take, do you have the book with you? You can actually take it up and see it, right? So under physical development, also we have different subtopics like physical fitness, we have nutrition, we also have etiquettes, we have physical grooming, right? So which subtopic we are covering under the lesson, that is given in the lesson number. So any lesson you take, there will be a lesson number 5, lesson number 6, etc. And below that, there will be the subtopic. So that is specifically the value that we are trying to develop. So under that, let us say physical grooming, or let us say physical fitness, it will be a lesson on yoga or something like that, or on physical grooming, how to speak well, could be the value. What is most important, which I repeated in the last 2 days also, is we are not just information givers, we are transformation makers. What is the result of teaching? The result of teaching has to be change. In the sense, the children have to change after attending our classes, right? We cannot say that I taught, the child changed or not, that is the child's responsibility. That we cannot say, right? A good coach is a coach who creates a good athlete, who makes him perform well. A good doctor is one who treats the disease should go. Only then he is a good doctor. In the same way, a good teacher is one who makes the transformation happen in the child. So we should be very clear what change do we want to see in the child. Second point, how do we see the change? When change happens, we see the change in the behavior of the person, right? For example, if you're teaching the value of respect, after the child imbibes the value, the way the child speaks will change. The body language will change. The words that the child uses will change, right? So the change has to happen. So change has to happen in action. For that, change has to happen in the heart, right? The feelings have to change. And for the feelings to change, conviction in the head has to change. So value education should address the head, which is the convictions, should address the heart, which is the feeling. The emotion has to be there. The moment we hear the name India, our emotions rise up. Is it not? Yes, India, because we feel. When you call your mother as Amma, there is a feeling to it. So feeling has to be there. And third, there has to be action with our hands. It is doing. So these three have to happen after we have taught the value education. So to bring in conviction, we should give the reasoning of the value, the moral logic behind the value we should give. The child should be totally convinced. Second, we should give the children the understanding that this is being practiced for a long time. Our scriptures, we should give quotations from the scriptures. Our children should know what is said about this value in the Bhagavad Gita, in the Tirukkural, in the Ramcharitamanas, etc. We should tell. So that is called moral literacy. That also we should create. Our Chinmaya child should not go out and say, I don't know Bhagavad Gita, I don't know Ramayana, I don't know what is written in the Mahabharata. That should not happen. Right? So these values are taken from the Ramayana, from the Mahabharata, from the Upanishads. They have been taken from the Bhagavad Gita. So references of stories, references of quotations from the scriptures have to be taken. So that is called moral literacy. Third, we should take examples. Examples are from different places. One example we should take from our past, our kings, our gods, etc., etc. We should take examples. Second, we should take examples of contemporary people to show that these people followed this value and they succeeded, right? Or they were respected because of this. Like that, we should show the example of the contemporary people. Second. And third, we should show examples of ourselves practicing the value, because the child is looking at us, right? We are not a preacher, we are a teacher, right? And as teacher, the child looks at us for inspiration. The child is looking for role models to follow. Today, our children have confusing role models. Right? So we should serve them by becoming role models. We may not be perfect in following the value, doesn't matter. But the child should understand that yes, my teacher is trying to follow the value, my teacher is trying to live the value, and that will become the inspiration for the child as well. And finally, once the child is convinced, when the child is inspired, the child should know what to do so that that value develops. For example, the child understands punctuality is important, let us say. Now the child is convinced. The child has a feeling, yes, I should be punctual. But what am I supposed to do so that punctuality comes into me? So that is called habit. So the fourth aspect is called habit. So we should tell the child, do this 1, 2, 3, 4. These 4 things you practice, you will become punctual. For example, we can tell the child, whatever you have to do, be ready 5 minutes before that particular event. Right? That can be one tip that the child can practice. Second, whatever materials you have to keep ready, keep it ready the night before. Can be one more tip. Like that, we should give 3-4 tips so that the child can practice it as a habit. And lastly, it is also important for us to check whether the child actually followed it. So that is called assessment. So assessment cannot be only on the information, because knowing is good, but knowing is not actual doing. So our assessment should involve checking whether the child actually did it or not. No? So whatever habits we are telling the child, at least in the next week or in the week after that, every week we should keep checking, asking the child to assess whether the child has actually practiced it and whether the child has changed. And that will be the real end of that particular teaching that has happened. So it is not just information, it is transformation that we are trying to create, and let us make that happen. So each value is a transformation objective. Right? So let us look at our lessons like that these values our children should practice and develop in their lives. So in particular, this particular session is on Indian culture that we are doing right now. It is on Indian culture, and we are covering a few lessons of class 5 and class 6. Okay. So for the first lesson, now from class 5, I have requested our Shanti ma'am to please take that lesson. That lesson is called Equal but different. Right? So I request Shanti ma'am to please take that lesson for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Swamiji. Am I audible?
Yes, Amma.
I'm audible. Yeah, I want all of you to check whether your chat boxes are available. See that sometimes you can interact with me through the chat box. So please see that the chat boxes are available. Okay, thank you. So now this is a lesson. Lesson says very clearly, equal but not the same. That is the very, very interesting thing, that we are different but equal. Sorry, that is the name of the lesson, different but equal. And we are going to see what are we going to talk about it in this lesson. You know, the entire book, we've been conceived with the ideas of what actually happens to a child as he grows. What are the, you know, the different confusions and conflicts that the child goes through. And sometimes he makes it wrong assumptions. Sometimes he ends up making his own assumptions, which could be completely wrong. So there's one, you know, as a child comes into the kindergarten classes, from the home to the nursery classes, kindergarten classes, how they have absolutely no difference. They talk with all children. Sometimes they are shy, sometimes it all happens. But as they grow, they start forming their own opinions, they form their own assumptions. So we are going to talk about what happens at the age of, say, around 9-10-year-old child. What happens to him when he looks at the other gender, the girls and the boys. When they look at each other, what kind of conflicts go through in the mind? First is they see at the physical level, they are not the same, they are different. They see their body is different and my body is different. That's the first thing that they come across that. And have you noticed something? I wanted to quickly say yes or no to me in the chat box. In class 3, after 3, 4th onwards, even the 5th standard, they somehow think that girls are bad. Boys think girls are bad, girls think boys are bad. We are the best. Do you think it happens in our schools? The girls complain when the teacher comes to the class. They come running to complain, ma'am, these boys are doing this, ma'am, this one is doing this, ma'am, the girls are very bad, ma'am. This is how they start, because they think my gender is the best. I belong to, I'm a boy and I'm better than girls. I have more authority. That is the concept that child forms in. And I tell you, if not attended to it, if not given a concept, you will make a mess of a man coming out of the boy when he grows up. Many homes, many houses, we have seen how some of the men behave with women, the wives. It's completely because that was not attended at a very, very earlier stage. They must have seen some examples. They must have seen that. So here is a lesson how we are going to handle this, different but equal. That's what we are going to see. The objective is mainly to understand and respect the importance that women are given in our culture. With reference to Indian culture, this lesson is about how women are given an extreme respectable role in our scriptures, and also regard all genders with love and respect. That is a very big idea that we are here. It is a part of the mental development also for a child, though we have put it under Indian culture, because we wanted to stress our culture never had this. That is what we wanted to say in this particular lesson. But regarding all genders with love and respect is that. So the storyline is like this. Ritu is a 10-year-old girl. She comes home and throws the bag and tells her mother, Mommy, I'm very angry with these boys. They are all thinking they are the best. Aren't girls greater than boys? And then mother understands what he's going through. He's a very, very wise mother. She's sitting there. She says, she tries to make the child understand. She's asking, which is better? Hands are better or legs are better? And then, of course, what a question, Mummy, you are asking. Both are equally important. Both have got that. So she slowly brings in the concept of how creation has both genders and they are both equal in many respects. Physically, they may be different, but they are equal in many, many respects. There are certain things that, the girl also asks the mother, then why are not girls allowed to do certain things? Why are girls not allowed to do certain things? Even in our schools, we see girls are not allowed to do certain things when boys are allowed. So the mother says, see, can't hands do all that the legs can do? Or can the legs do all that the hands can do? Hands has to contribute in its own way. The legs have to contribute in its own way. Because of the structure, they have to do it, whatever is they are right for them. But mother gives a very, very beautiful lesson at the end of it. It says, both boys and girls are important in a society, in a community. They are respected in a society, but none of them should do anything wrong. That is very, very important. And also have an equal respect for each other. That is the basic storyline we have. So, and what our scriptures say? You know that in the Ardhanadishwara temple, we know that Ardhanadishwara symbolizes male and female principal forms cannot be separated. It's only a creation. They cannot be separated. See, these are the knowledge that you may not give it to the class as it is. If you feel they will understand, you can give them. But teacher needs to know this. Teacher first has to strong believe that it is not that women are better or men are better than women, all of that. At least we need to have a very, very clear concept. So we need to know that. Our creation very clearly says the female principle and the male principles, they cannot be separated. It also conveys the unity of opposites in the universe. There is always a unit. Opposites are united. If you're rich, they're poor. And weak and strong, everything are united together in the universe. So that's what is about. The teacher needs to know, if possible, can deliver it in the classroom in a very small manner. And the 10th chapter of the Veda, example, asserts the feminine to be the supreme principle behind the all of cosmos. It says that very clearly. So our scriptures have been given a lot of respect to women, so that has to be brought out in the classes. And you know the Hindu gods and goddesses. Can you quickly type some male gods that we all worship? Quickly, very quickly, we have to go ahead. Some male gods whom you think we know, I mean, we keep worshipping. Yes, Hanuman, Ganesha, Hanuman, Shiva, Rama, Lord Krishna, all of that. Very beautiful. And some goddesses. Who are the goddesses whom we worship? Names of few goddesses. Parvati, Saraswati, Kamakshi, Durga, Lakshmi, very beautiful. Yes, these are, so we worship both. We worship the feminine form of God. We worship the male form of God. We worship even the formless God also. Shiva Linga has got no form, male or female. We worship that also. And also, there have been also, you need to give in the classroom a great examples of great women who have achieved, like Begum Hasrat and Jhansi Rani. And we have so many people from different parts of the world. This is mentioned in the book. You can read a bit about it. You can browse and find out about in the book and tell them that Muktaba in the east, Akka Mahadevi in the south, and all of this is given in the book. These names are mentioned, but we have not put the pictures or anything. You can browse and give the children about it. You know, this happened. How Jhansi Rani, even though it's men join army and fight, but there are people who have contributed to the nation. And we see mother everywhere. Our Hindu culture, our Indian culture is so beautiful that we look at Mother Ganges. We call her as Mother Ganges. Gangama. We say Gangamai. That's what we say. We worship with a lot of love, as much as Swamiji's mentioned. When you call Amma at home, my mother, when I call, how much of feeling we have, the same feeling when you go and see in the river Ganges, when people take bath, oh my, Gangamai, Gangamai, the people take bath and say, Mother. That feeling of feminine worship of a river is there. Tulsi plant, Tulsi is considered to be a woman, and the entire earth, we call it as Bhumata, Bhumi Mata. We say Bhumi Mata. That is why when we get up in the morning, we touch the floor and take it saying Bhumi Mata, I prostrate because of you. This is only I'm glorifying the female forms all over. That was what our scriptures say as part of the Indian culture. We have to understand that. So what should be, the Swamiji mentioned very clearly about the knowing, feeling and doing part of it. Both boys and girls are equally important in a society. There are things that the girls cannot do. There are things that the boys may not be able to do. But they are both equally important in the society to contribute to the society. It is very, very important. Even when I'm speaking about the great women, you can talk about the late contemporary women and the so many women who have achieved many things even today, current world. If you browse and so you give it as an assignment to children, they will find out about the women who have achieved. Men also can be given. It's not that we are going to do a lopsided emphasis on women that the boys start feeling bad. Show also about when we are saying rivers are worshipped as a female, mountains are worshipped as men. We call mountains, you know, the hugeness, the the firm mountains we refer as a male in our culture. Give as much as possible, but both the children in the class, the boys and girls, understand we are all equally important. Appreciate the respect and importance that women are given in our culture. It is very, very important now. Today, we see that some of the women are going through problems, some of the abuses that happens. It is very important. It doesn't happen because of cows and monkeys are not abusing women. It is the men who are abusing women sometimes. So the men have to be given clear concept of this at this 10-year-old age. Otherwise, we are making a big mistake. The society will continue to be a mess if we don't do it. There's nothing point in reading in the newspapers and saying, my God, and all of that. But what are we doing? Do not miss this age when children are with you. inject into them this feeling of respect women. In a women, Bharatiya very clearly says the society where women are not respected, that society will never flourish, never have prosperity. So respecting women is very, very, very important. Regard the opposite gender with love and respect is another thing that can be given. Now, can you just put in the chat box, what are the jobs that only men can do? Quickly. I have just got another 3 more minutes. What are the jobs that only women can do? What do you think that only women can do? Anything that you think only women can do? Come on. Give birth, men. No, I'm saying men can do, not women. Sorry. I read it as women. Write some jobs only men can do. Everything they can do, anything except field work. Yes, okay. Anything more that only men can do. Physical hard work. No such jobs, nothing. Oh, okay. No, everything. Okay. I hear we have a group of feminine teachers. I can see many of you are female teachers. That's why somebody wanted me to do the session. I can see that, yes, only men can do. And only women can do. Already some of you gave giving birth and, to a child and all of that only women can do. There are certain things only women can do. And women can give abundant love. Men cannot show it. There are the feelings also, there are difference. Actually, understanding both the genders, it is very, very easy to, cope up with life. There's so many problems happen today. People get married and then break up immediately because they don't understand how the mechanism works in a man, how the mechanism in women works. These are all need to understand it a little better. All that probably is what is lacking. And right jobs which both men and women can do. I think you'll agree with me today. Women are all over, everywhere. All jobs are taken up by women. Whatever men do or women are able to do. Yesterday I traveled in an auto. It was driven by a lady. Was doing buses are driven by ladies, and whatever areas where men were only doing work, now of late women are also started entering into it. So that's a very, very beautiful thing. And so the activity tips. Knowing someone's greatness brings appreciation and respect for them. Let students list down what is the contribution of the mother to the family and father to the family. Very, very important. I tell you, we conduct interviews in CARS. When we ask children, what is your father doing? He say he's an entrepreneur, he runs a business, he does this, he's having all of this. I can see the child, with a lot of pride he speaks. And then we ask, what does the mother do? She says, she's only a housewife. Why you think housewife is only housewife? Housewife is an important task. She's more than a CEO of a company. The work done by a housewife is much, much, much more than untiring job, and with a lot of love. That is another thing. In a company, men work sometimes, they work as though it's a burden. I have to finish and go home. I have to finish it. But women, whatever she does, especially the housewives, do so much of love. It's mixed with love. They cook with love. They take care of your clothes with love. They take care of the house with love. Everything is, comes as a package with love there. So it's no retirement. Yes, fine. Yes, absolutely. No retirement for women. They keep going on. And for a child, they would give their life. So that is, and the child doesn't respect it. Just imagine, how can a child say my mother is only a housewife? He must be able to say my mother takes care of all of us. And we ask them, we used to ask, what will happen if your mother doesn't take care of your father? Oh no, he can't do anything. So father may be an entrepreneur, but mother is taking care of the father. That is why he is able to function properly. You think about it, many homes, even the big directors and CEOs and managers, the women is the background, does so much of support. That's why things work in a beautiful manner. So this can be given as a task for the child, so that he understands. And also make the child list down professions, occupations where women dominate, men where women are preferred more than men, or men are preferred more than women. This kind of ideas, you can put it in that, and list down the professions, occupations where they preferred more than men, preferred over than men, and 3 qualities that women and men have which makes them preferable for that profession. You can see that at the end of it, when you're putting it down, when you're writing, the children, they will understand that equally women and men are equally preferred for whatever may be their quality in themselves, whatever may be their profession in that. I remember, I'm going to close with this last one thing. When Sudha Murthy, she applied to Tata Motors company. That those time it was called as Telco. She applied there, and she was refused because in their the department, in the engineering section, no lady was given a job. And she came out and she was sent a regret letter. She wrote to Tata saying that, I'm ashamed to see this letter. How can you say a woman cannot work in a factory? How can you decide on that? And immediately she was absorbed and she was taken there. And that story she has written in her autobiography. You can read it. So women are doing a lot of things, and it is high time we bring in children the mind to respect each other. At the age of 10, children think they don't like each other, they hate each other, they think I am the best and they are the poor. And between you and me, I can say that over the years it changes. When they go to higher classes, how they fall in love with the girls, and that's a different story altogether. But right now, it's very important. The transformation which Swamiji mentioned has to be brought in children, looking at the opposite gender with equal respect and equal with a lot of understanding that yes, they are also a beautiful creation, and both of us are needed in the society. That's what at the end of the lesson, the Ritu understands. At the end of the lesson says, oh, now I understand. Now I'm not going to fight with the boys to say that we are best, and I'm going to also guide them, counsel my own classmates to think that they are not just the best. We are all living equally important in this society. That's what is the point. So thank you. That was the lesson on the different but equal. Now you get the meaning. We may look physically different, but equal in so many ways in the creation of the Lord. It's a beautiful creation. Purpose. God has a purpose in doing that. Thank you, Ariyo. Thank you so much, Swamiji. Over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes. Thank you.
You can add.
Thank you, ma'am. I think you should clap for Shanti Amma, because I told Shanti Amma this only yesterday, that you should take this particular lesson. She is right now very, very busy participating and contributing to a big program that is happening at the CBSE level. CBSE is working with the NEP, the new education policy, and under that they're bringing a very big program. So there's a group of 25 people who are selected from the country, and Shanti Amma has been selected to be part of that. She is doing a presentation there, and so much work is happening. And if you remember, Shanti Amma mentioned that Mr. Joseph, who is the head of CBSE, so he was giving an introduction to the team, and there he mentioned in particular, we have Shanti Amma from Chinmaya Mission, and who else other than Chinmaya Mission can give a great strength to value education, right? So that is the faith that entire CBSE has on Chinmaya Mission. And so thank you, Shanti Amma, for representing Chinmaya Mission also and taking all these things forward. Thank you very much for doing this particular lesson. Right. So as Shanti Amma mentioned to all of us, the most important thing is to remember that we, first of all, need not be better than somebody else, right? What we are trying to bring in is a balance and not a up or a down. So let us say if at one particular time the men felt I am greater than the woman, now if the woman feel I am greater than the man, both results are lost. Both purposes are lost. The idea is for us to bring in a beautiful balance so that both of us can contribute the best to the society, and that is the understanding we have to bring. As Shanti Amma mentioned about Aradhana Ishvara, in Aradhana Ishvara there is such a beautiful balance between the man and the woman. So the men also should understand how to manage and how to understand and how to give equality to the woman, and the woman also understands how to bring in beautiful balance with the men, between the boys and the girls. So coming to that, the festival that we were going to take up today, that festival is Raksha Bandhan. Okay, again a festival between boys and girls. So why did we take up this particular festival, or I would say why did we take up this particular lesson of equality? The reason is this, that there is, in fact, this lesson on equality, why we took it up was because there is so much criticism of Indian culture, right, across the world, or certain sections of people who want to put down Indian culture and Indian religion and Indian systems. Those people are telling because of Indian culture, women are disrespected in India. Because of Indian culture, there is exploitation of women. Because of Indian culture, there is violence against women. So the most important point is they're trying to put down Hinduism, trying to put down Indian cultural beliefs, trying to put down all these our civilizational ideas in the name, saying that that is promoting exploitation and violence against women. Is that true? That is absolutely not true. Because it is our culture which says, look at your mother as God, look at your father as God. Right? Both it says. So how can our culture promote violence or exploitation against women? Right? Second point, if our culture is promoting violence and exploitation against women, is there violence and exploitation against women in other places? Does America have that? Of course it has. Does Australia have that? Of course it has. Every country has. So exploitation is not because of the culture, exploitation is because of the lack of understanding. Right? So the point that we have to emphasize is, it is not because of the culture we have exploitation, it is because we did not follow the culture that we have exploitation. This is what we have to understand. Look at our pledge, look at our pledge, national pledge. Which country has this line, every Indian is my brother and sister? Which country has that? Think about it. And why did they put it in the national pledge? And just think about it. If we look at every Indian as my brother and sister, will I exploit them? Will I have violence against them? Think about it, how important that line in the pledge is. And that pledge comes from which culture? That pledge comes from our culture. Is it not? Right? Naturally, in our culture, we call all the elder men as Anna or Bhaiya, correct or not? We don't call them by a name, we call them as a relationship, Anna or Bhaiya. Same way, a girl in our culture, naturally we call them either as sister, Didi, or we call them Akka, or we call them Amma. Right or not? This is our natural culture, and we give up this culture and we call them by different names. We forget the sentiment behind it, and then different emotions follow those sentiments. And where do those sentiments come from? Those sentiments are not from India, those sentiments are from Western cultures. We follow those sentiments and we make movies on that. And when we make movies on that, that becomes the culture. Today, more than Raksha Bandhan, Valentine's has more gifts bought on Amazon. Think about it. What are we supposed to promote? Is it Valentine's that we have to promote, or is it Raksha Bandhan we have to promote? So the media is promoting Valentine's, the commercial salespeople are promoting Valentine's, and we are not celebrating Raksha Bandhan. Then what will happen? Whatever is promoted will be, what do we call that? Taken up as a sentiment, and children will send love cards instead of brother-sister cards. That's what will happen. And when this kind of infatuated love is what is happening in society, naturally physical attraction only will grow, naturally exploitation only will grow, naturally violence only will grow, because there is no respect in the relationship, no. So do we understand? The most important thing to understand is, it is not because of culture we have exploitation or violence. It is because of forgetting our culture that we have exploitation and we have violence. So therefore, if we start living our culture properly and understanding our culture properly, then we will not have all these problems. right? So to make us understand that our culture is the essence for our revival, that is very, very important. Otherwise, wrong criticisms are leveled against our culture, against our religion, against our civilization itself, right? So we have to understand that. Second, for equal status of women, please remember it is Indians who worked for equal status of women. Swami Vivekananda spoke for it, right? Who just think about it. That is what is our culture's essence that we have to understand. So having said that, so that is why we have put the Raksha Bandhan lesson also. But because we have done festivals, we won't take that particular lesson right now. We are going to take another lesson from class 6 now. Okay. And that lesson talks about customs and traditions. I'm going to show you share the video with all of you. Yeah. Share. What happened? Is it shared now? Yeah, I can see it is shared. Okay. So we're going to see this particular lesson. Quickly, we're going to see this. So this talks about a custom called Shodasha Samskara. I want all of you to keep your chat open. Okay. Right. So this comes under customs and traditions. Right. So before we come to the objectives and all that, as I mentioned to you, I want you to open your chat boxes. I want you to write down the names of cars that you remember. Names of cars that you remember. Yes, Ambassador, Maruti, Indica, okay, Audi, good. Okay, Maruti, Honda, Tata, Audi, okay, Vesta, BMW, Jaguar, good. Suzuki, Hyundai, Lexus, good. Rolls-Royce, BMW, Volkswagen, Ambassador, okay, fantastic. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Good. 800. It's a Maruti 800. Okay, good. Lamborghini also has come. Very good. Fantastic. So, second question. What are the jewelry brands that you know? Jewelry brands. Nakshatra, Kalyani, Aradhana, DBZ, GRT, okay, Josco, Tanishq, Kalyan, okay, very good. Malabar Gold is also there, Akshaya, Bhima, Alukas is also there, fantastic. Thank you very much. Excellent. Thank you. Third, tell me what are the brands of cosmetics that you know? Cosmetics. Lakme, okay. Sampiran Lakshmi, okay. Ponds, Plum, Lotus, L18, Revlon, okay, fantastic. Fair and lovely, etc. Thank you. So now, okay, done. Very good. I'm getting so many responses. Fantastic. Thank you very much. So now my question is, how is it that you remember certain brands and not certain other brands? Because as all of us know, so many brands keep getting advertised, right? When so many brands keep getting advertised, how is that certain brands you remember? Popular is a correct idea, but then there are so many popular brands. How come you did not know those brands? Because what happened is that there was advertisement, and that particular that particular experience created an impression upon our mind. Correct or not? Right? We were impressed by a particular experience. We were impressed by a particular advertisement or by the quality of that particular thing that created a impression in my mind, and that impression created my choices also. So you see, we remember only those things that are advertised, they created an impression upon us. So what is the principle? The principle is experiences create impressions. And once the impression is created, we make choices based upon those impressions. Think about it. So, if we want people to make certain choices, we can make them create those choices by creating right impression in their mind. And how do we create a right impression in their mind? By giving them certain powerful experiences. Correct? So, when we create powerful, correct experiences, we can create powerful, correct impressions, and those can become fantastic choices for the people. Now, this is the idea behind Shodasha Samskara. So, what is a Samskara? Samskara is a ritual which is created to create a very powerful impression in the mind of people. Okay, so Samskara means those rituals, they have 2-3 purposes. One purpose is to inform the person that they are entering a particular stage of life. That is one thing. So we have how many samskaras? We have 16 samskaras in our culture. So it is a particular stage. For example, when you finish school, we have graduation and we go to college. So it's a particular samskara. Or when getting married, we have a particular ritual that is done, that is an impression, that is a samskara that is created. Sometimes the samskaras are 5 days long. Sometimes the samskaras are 5 hours long. So like that, there are samskaras which are created. Rituals that are done. So first thing, it is done to remove our weaknesses, apanayana. Second, it is to create right impressions in us. Now you have grown to this particular level, follow these particular duties and live your life. And third, it is created to get blessings of gods and elders into the stage of life that we are going to end. That is called samskara. So how many samskaras do we have? We have 16 samskaras. In the womb of the mother, we have 3 samskaras. Right? And then Jata Karma, the moment we are born, there is one samskara ritual that is done. As a baby, we have 5 samskaras. Karnamedi is there, Chuda Karma is there, different samskaras are there. So these 8 samskaras are done by the parent. Of course, it is done by the parent. It is done when the child is small. And then we have what is called Vidyaramba, as a student. We have Vidyaramba, we have Upanayana, and we have Samavartana. There are samskaras. Right? And then we have entering family life, wedding is one samskara, and the last samskara is when we pass away. When we leave our body, when we die, we have the last samskara. So we have 16 samskaras. So you see, there are different samskaras that are there right from childbirth. Of course, in this, we don't have pictures of all the samskaras, but right from childbirth to death, we have samskaras. So in this lesson, we are talking about Namakarana as a samskara. That is what we are talking in this particular lesson. In the next year, we are talking until Samavartana, we are talking in the next lesson. Okay? Which will come in the next year. So in this lesson, we are talking about Namakarana because name is a very powerful impression. Because the name is going to be with us our entire life. Okay. So imagine if you have a very, very funny name. Let us say Ting Tong is your name. Imagine your entire life you are called by the name Ting Tong. How funny it will be, right? So therefore, our names are very, very important because it should inspire us, it should make us feel good, and it should also give us a good idea. Not only that, our samskaras or our rituals follow what is called a philosophy. So the name is also a reminder to us, right? So in our philosophy, it is said we are essentially God and we should discover the divinity in us. We should discover. It says Tattvamasi, you and that God are the same essence. You are divine, that is your essence, correct? So why do we get the name Ishwari, or why do we get the name Parvati? Why do we get the name Rama? Why do we have the name Krishna? These are all God's names. So it is to tell us the understanding that you are essentially God. In essence, you are Parvati herself. In essence, you are Ishwari herself. In essence, you are Rama. In essence, you are Krishna. So discover your Ramahood. Discover that you are Krishna and manifest that Krishna in your life. Discover that you are Lakshmi. Discover that you are the embodiment of prosperity, of goodness, of wealth. Therefore, you are called Lakshmi. Do we understand? So you are potentially Lakshmi. To remind you of that, you are given the name Lakshmi. So you see how important names are. So therefore, in our culture, names of gods are given to us, names of goddesses are given, names of rishis or names of certain values. For example, sometimes the names are Satya. Your name is Satya. Satya means what? Truth. So therefore, every day somebody is calling me Satya, Satya, Satya. It is difficult for me to do Asatya because every day I am hearing Satya, Satya. Correct? So that is why our culture gave us this Namakarana. And today what are we doing? We are forgetting our culture. And what are the names we are giving our children? Juju. Right? Why Juju? First name of mother is Ju. First name of father is also Ju. So we named him Juju. Another child is named Ding Dong. Why? When the child was born, we heard the sound of Ding Dong, bell rang. So we call them Ding Dong. Think about it. What is the meaning of the name? Right? So we should not forget our culture. The name is very, very important because it creates an impression. So you see, rishis were invited to give names. Right? Sri Krishna was named by Garga Rishi. Sri Rama was named by Sage Vasishta. Even our Gurudev Balakrishna Menon, that was his name. Right? To name him, his guru, family guru was Chattambi Swamigal. He was called to name Puja Gurudev. Okay, okay. So this is very important. So what is the activity we have to do? The activity is this: write your name and what it means. So I request all of you on a paper to write your name. Right? Please write your name and then also write down what are the values that are attributed to your name. Okay, so let us say your name is Radhika, let us say. Okay, your name is Radhika. What does it mean? What is the value that is associated with your name? And therefore, from now on, please, every time we are called by this name, let us remember these values and let us try to live up to this particular values. This is what we have to do. So like this, we have Namakarana, which is the one of the very important samskaras which we have talked about in this lesson, then we can tell the children to study more of the samskaras, and like this we can tell our children, of course in the next year they will study more samskaras. Okay, so this is the lesson about telling them that there is something called samskara and we should follow these. Don't you see this is so important, right? So namakarana is very, very, very important, and therefore namakarana should be done beautifully by all of us. We should not forget this particular culture, and second, we should not keep it only as a ritual. That is very important, right? Because ritual without meaning is only certain actions, that's all. As I mentioned to you, birthday party, only birthday party without meaning is only some actions. There is no use. So the birthday should be a chance for us to remind ourselves of the glory of human birth, so that I start doing something new, something beautiful, right? So like that, our samskaras are great, are most wonderful, so we can practice that. I've got just 5 minutes more, and therefore I'm going to take up one more lesson which we are going to see tomorrow in great detail, and that lesson is called Land of the Ancient. Can you see this particular what do we call that video? This is called Land of the Ancient. So what is the land of the ancient? Land of the ancient means, thank you very much. Yes, land of the ancient means we are talking about what is called Saraswati civilization, which is our civilization. We are talking about that. Now the most important point is, why are we talking about some Saraswati civilization? Okay, so what are the objectives? So the objectives are these: Saraswati civilization, which is our civilization, is the most ancient. We want our children to know what is the truth about our civilization. That is the idea. We want our children to feel pride, and we want our children to practice this civilization. That is what we want our children to do. So now, why is this knowledge important? Because it sounds like history. Please remember this particular statement. The first one: we are what we believe. That's what we are. So therefore, what we believe is very important. And what we believe is based on our past knowledge. Right? Now look at this. Our identity, what is our identity? Our identity is based on our history. And if we lose our history, we lose our identity itself. So who are we? To know who we are, we need our history, we need to know what we are, we need to know our culture. What does it mean to be an Indian? That is important. And most importantly, we have to understand that our history was taught to us, or was even till today, our history is following what the Britishers taught us. And most of it is not telling us the truth. That is the point. So we have to use what do we call that, different aspects. Now you please tell me, are we just introducing this lesson in class 4, then we have the continuation in class 5, we have that in class 6, we have in class 7, and we have in class 8. So the same lesson, we are progressing in 5 classes, we are taking it up. Okay, so the point is this: who are we talking about? We are talking about people who are studying about India. Studying about India means what? People who are studying truly about what India really is, and who are working on the true history of India. See, please try to think about it. In the land of Rama, right, we have to go to the Supreme Court to tell us whether we have to build Rama temple. That is what is happening to our culture. And we are questioning, did Rama exist or not? It is because we don't know. I'm not saying be blind believers. That's not what I'm trying to say. But I'm trying to say we should know or not whether Rama lived in this earth. Shouldn't we know Ramayana? Shouldn't we know Mahabharata? Shouldn't we know what is our culture? Right? So what is our true history also we should know. So who are these Indologists that who are really studying so hard? You should know. This is Dr. B.B. Lal, right? Who was the head of Archaeological Survey of India. Great man. This is Professor Kapil Kapoor, who was the Vice Chancellor of Jawaharlal Nehru University. Great man. Okay. We have Dr. Kalyan Raman, who is the director of the Saraswati Research Institute. He lives in center in Chennai. This is Dr. Ram Mohan, who is part of Peninsula Foundation, and this is Professor Michel Danino. Jesse, Professor Michel Danino is a Padma Shri. He is a French man who has lived in India now for 38 years, and he is studying about India. And he is bringing out things. So these people have contributed to this particular study, and we have used their material for studying our lessons. Okay, so we will be dealing with these lessons in great detail. This is a little technical lesson, so we'll be studying it in little more detail tomorrow. A lot of understanding needs to come in, so we'll study about it. Okay, our understanding today that we are Indus Valley civilization. Okay, our understanding is that there are Aryans and there are Dravidians. Right? Our understanding is of a fight between Sanskrit and Tamil, which is the oldest language. Right? There is this question of Aryan invasion theory. Right? So many of them have to be corrected, and that we have attempted in this particular set of lessons. We will see that tomorrow. Thank you very much. Right? So today's lesson was about Indian culture, the equality of man and woman, the need for bringing positive relationships and not negative relationships, the idea of samskaras, bringing the right impressions at the right age to bring the right experiences, to bring the right choices. So we have Shodasha samskaras, and then we'll also be seeing about what is our true history and our true culture. Thank you very much for being part of this. We will meet in the next 10 minutes. We will take a break and we'll meet for the next session on emotional development. Thank you. Hari Om.